Fruity Film presents.
This is South Wigston and the Blaby Road. This is the superstore with Wickes, Lidl and Tesco, and over the road is the South Leicestershire College at the top of Canal Street. In 1840 there was a level crossing here which remained until the 1960s, and further to the east was another level crossing from 1857 when the Midland built their line to Hitchin. When the North Curve was instated in 1871, a further level crossing of the diamond kind appeared and remains the only level crossing in this image. This short film is about the junctions of Wigston, some of which owe their existence to Orson Wright, a philanthropic brickmaker, builder and industrialist of the Victorian period. The Midland Counties Railway built a line from Trent Junction to Rugby in 1840, creating Wigston's first station on the Blaby Road with staggered platforms. The railway was absorbed into the Midland in 1844. In 1857, the Midland Railway, seeking a route to London, built their line to Hitchin, creating Wigston's second station, which was also called Wigston. In 1861, the South Leicestershire line from Hinckley was complete and was absorbed into the London North Western, joining the old Midland Counties line before Wigston North Junction. 1868, to prevent confusion, the two Wigston stations were renamed to Wigston South on the Rugby line and Wigston, Leicester and Hitchin on the Leicester and Hitchin line. Confusion remained at large when in 1870 a signal box was added and named Wigston South Junction on the Hitchin line. Sidings followed, controlled by a further box named Wigston Up Sidings. A year later, the Midland built a spur from the Hitchin branch to the South Leicestershire line via a diamond crossing, creating signal boxes and junctions at Glenparva and Wigston Central. A coal yard was added by the Central Junction box, who also had the new loop line. Glenparva controlled the new sidings, now accessible from Leicester, named Blaby Up and Blaby Down, and from one of these sidings, Orson Wright's Brick and Tile Works was accessed via a tunnel under Saffron Road. The railway cottages by Wigston South Junction were completed and may have been the homes of many of these new signal operators now that the boxes were no longer managed by the local constabulary. In 1873, a locomotive power depot was built with access via the Hitchin branch. Further sidings were provided in 1875 and controlled by another cabin at Wigston South Sidings. In 1882, Glenparva Barracks opened their own station with one platform. Passengers were unable to gain access until 1884, when a second platform and bay road were provided and dropped the barracks from its name. This bay road provided a new route to Orson Wright's brick factory in 1886, which expanded and was able to access the LNWR route without using the Midland. Wright must have had a good rapport with the railways, as he encouraged them to provide a siding accessing the businesses along Canal Street, including his own Perseverance Works. In 1887, Glenparva added Wigston to its name. On the Hitchin line, sidings were placed opposite the motive depot with its own signal box of Wigston Down sidings. Further sidings within the confine of the up sidings and the motive depot with an engine shed appeared the same year, controlled by Engine Shed Signal Cabin. There was significant remodelling of the area in 1902. Leicester Line Junction was moved further north, allowing for faster speeds through the junction, and the old track removed. The level crossing on the Hitchin, now London branch, was removed and a bridge built as extra tracks were added, making a level crossing unmanageable. Wigston Hitchin station gained another platform and further sidings, including a bay road. With the advancement of signalling systems, Engine Shed's signal cabin was made redundant in 1910. With the death of Orson Wright in 1913, the brick and tile factory became a cement works, and the siding from Blaby Down was removed and the tunnel filled in. It is alleged that a locomotive was buried with it, but there is no evidence to support this. The 1921 Railway Grouping Act made many changes nationally. In Wigston, both railways became LMS, and only the London branch station was renamed as Wigston Magna. Wigston down sidings and their signal box were removed in 1953. The area once filled with wagons was starting to empty. The engine shed and motive depot had been closed but were reprieved during the war and finally closed for good in 1955. Long relegated as a branch, the rugby line was no longer needed and closed on the 1st of January 1962 before Beeching released the axe. Wright's siding for Canal Street Industry was lifted. The line still had the level crossing, which took some years to remove, though the coal yard continued to be used. Signalling of the coal yard was relocated and Wigston South signal box was closed in 1965. Beeching's report stated that all Wigston stations must close. In 1966, Wigston South sidings and signal box closed and the cement works on Saffron Road was disconnected from the Hinckley line. British Rail closed the Loop line in 1967, taking Blaby up and down sidings and Central Junction signal box. In 1968, the level crossing was finally removed. The rugby branch lifted in its entirety, although the coal yard still shunted some wagons about, despite being delivered by road. Wigston's remaining stations of Magna and Glenparva were taken out of use. Glenparva signal box was made redundant in 1973. The coal yard sidings were removed in 1976, as were a number of the up sidings on the London branch. The signal boxes of Wigston North Junction, Wigston up sidings, Wigston South Junction were all removed in 1986, with the 1902 approach roads past the disused Wigston Magna station. Some of these tracks are still visible today, though electrification works may remove them permanently. Further west, Narborough Road had reopened as early as 1970, but Wigston had to wait another 16 years for their station. In the early 1990s, the Motive Power Depot sidings were removed and the rest lifted in 1999. The cement works became Draper Distribution Light Industrial Works. The points around the east end of the South Curve were remodelled. In 2001, the now familiar Cromwell Tools HQ building was erected. In 2005, Tesco opened their superstore and Lidl opened in 2017. Please like and subscribe for more content, or better still, tell me your experiences of Wigston and what you remember.